show. We finally made it to the final 2 episodes of this crazy series, and I couldn't do it without my amazing co-host, Tyra. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent, and I'm doing better because we have such a special guest, Terra Newell, who is the actual daughter of the real-life Dirty John story. How are you doing?
Good. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to talk to you. I feel like we have so many questions, and there's just so much dirt to get into. So
Yeah, a lot of dirt.
Oh, sounds like she's ready to give it. So
I know.
exciting.
Okay, so before we do a recap of the 2 episodes, I just want to know, what has it been like for your life to have this huge series based on your real life?
Well, it's been completely crazy. It's just been so surreal.
Yeah.
But it's been amazing because it's really brought awareness to the psychopaths out there.
Yeah, totally. Because you don't hear, I don't know.
Yeah,
they're few and far between, I feel like. And so when they come into your own life, it kind of takes
It's
you
like,
off guard.
oh my God, this is real life. You hear the
Oh, yeah.
stories, but to actually witness it is another thing.
Yeah. So I was listening to the podcast, and obviously I watched the show, and I feel like the show did a really good job of describing what happened. Like, there were so many little details that I also heard in the podcast. What did the show, what are the main things that the show got right, and was there anything that the show got wrong?
Well, just like a lot of the events, they happened. And I want to say like 90% of the events that happen in the show actually happen in real life. So that's kind of crazy. And then the only things that were really different is just like how it's viewed. I see, like, it's different for me because it's my life and I see myself a certain way, and others may view myself a different way. So it's just different perspectives.
Yeah.
And I think that they did a really good job at showing what he did. And he lit the car on fire. He did that.
That is so crazy, by the way.
He ate glass when he was little. Like,
Yeah.
that stuff really happened. He came after me. I stabbed him in the eye.
Oh my God.
Like, that stuff happened.
Wow. Well, we are going to get into all of that.
Yes.
I thought it's interesting that you brought up the glass thing. And what we did say last week, I think it was, is I think that the show tried to show John's childhood and how, you know, he was raised really poorly. He was essentially scamming and doing all these crazy things from day one. And he had this skill set that kind of made him easy to manipulate all the people around him. But also, his sister seemed pretty normal. Like, she was raised just like he was, and she was able to kind of get out of it and be somewhat of a normal person. Or that's kind of what they made it sound like.
Yeah, I think the sisters are pretty normal.
Yeah.
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 There's two in real life, so that's a little different.
Okay.
Right. And there was a brother, too, which they didn't, right?
Yes, but he's not.
He died
here.
of a drug
Yeah.
overdose. Okay. Yeah, I thought that they didn't touch that in the series, but they really didn't need to. Okay, so let's get into episode 7, the recap. It's kind of showing all of the pieces of the past 6 episodes come together, right? And I watched like the Bravo after show, and they said that there was no script for this episode. Like, they kind of weren't sure what they were going to do when they got there, but they kind of wanted to show everything from John's eyes, like before he met Debra. And it was just crazy to see him kind of prey on women, like dating online and kind of choose his next victim. I know one of the scenes he goes out to eat with a woman and she says that her brothers are cops, so he like strays away from it. And probably that's like a little bit dramatized, but were you able to learn about that, or is it more just for the show?
Well, we have no idea what he did in his own time. We have kind of an idea, and we think he did all these things. So it's kind of honestly Jeffrey Reiner's perspective on it, and I really like it because that's his way of filming.
Yeah, I like how throughout every episode they kind of go into the eyes of each different character, like
Yes.
Ronnie, or I guess your sister is really named
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline. Sorry, I was like Veronica. So in the show, her name is Ronnie, but her real name is Jacqueline. So how much were you involved at all in the filming of it? Or in the storyline of it, or was that more your mom?
Well, my mom and I met with the producers and a couple other people a couple times, and we really got in depth and everything. We talked about everything with them.
Yeah.
So they knew about so much, and then they had Christopher Goffard's background, so they had more information than I even knew.
Really?
Yeah, and then the trauma scene is actually from more so my perspective.
Yeah, I heard that he sat down with you and you
Yes.
kind of went into like really big detail about exactly what happened because he really wanted to get it from the point of your view.
Yeah, I got on like the floor of the place where we were at, and I was just showing him like what happened.
Wow.
How was that? Just, reenacting it. It was real life events. And I know it could be, just thinking back on that, it could be traumatizing.
Absolutely.
So how was it to just be back in that mode and have to physically show him all over again?
Honestly, that part, I'm really detached from that now. Like, that doesn't bother me. But when I start to think about, like, the hospital and other just certain smells and senses of it, then it starts to bother me. But going through the attack and saying what I did, that doesn't bother me at all.
It's probably just a blip in your mind. Like, do you even really remember it fully? Like, it probably just happened so quickly.
I remember it fully, but just I know what I needed to do was exactly what I did.
Yeah.
So it's like I just look at it as kind of tactical.
Yeah, I know. We're going to get more into detail into the attack in a little bit, but I want to jump back to the episode where they have the flashback of Jon in prison. And I noticed that like throughout the episode and maybe even throughout the season, he says, "Shut up, I'm a doctor," multiple times. And I think that he truly believes he is a doctor.
yeah.
I mean, like honestly thought that he was a doctor, even though he wasn't. Do you agree or?
Oh, no, totally. I remember talking to him the first time that I met him, and I was telling him about some of my medical problems.
Yeah.
And he was telling me, "Oh, I think you have this. You should go see this person." And so I did. And it was so crazy because
And was he on? Like, was he?
he wasn't, like, completely off about my symptoms. Like, it made sense for what I was going through, but it wasn't the right thing, but it completely sounded right.
He seems to be smart. Like he seems to be really smart and educated. And even though he's not actually a doctor, he seems to know a lot about medical terms and everything. And I don't know if that's from dating his first wife, Tonya. I think she has a different real life name.
No, her
Is
name's
it Tonya?
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't know. I thought that was crazy. So I just want to get like your first impression of Jon, because in the show it obviously shows Ronnie or Jacqueline just right off the bat she's turned off by him. She doesn't like him. She kind of has a bad taste in her mouth. What was your first impression of him when you met him?
Well, when I first met him, he was like struggling with a mattress. My boyfriend at the time and I went down to California. We were living in Nevada, and it was just like he wasn't really wanting to say hi to us. He didn't really want to look us in the eye. And then we got the mattress on top of the car, and he just seemed to have like a little attitude about him. But
Standoffish.
yeah.
And this was the first time you guys met.
Yes. But we weren't sure if it was like moving stress or something.
Yeah.
So
But did you immediately think, like, it's something up with this guy? Like, on the show, Ronnie, Jacqueline, she, sensed it immediately. Like, Mom, like, he looks like a bum, or, like, he's not dressed like, he's not a man that I see you with. Did you automatically see that? Or was it just like, he's kind of weird, but, whatever, Mom's dating a new guy?
well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really harsh on my mom's boyfriends.
Yes.
So I already went in with like just
Preconceived notions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could say that. And so I heard what my sister was saying, And I was like, okay, maybe she's being like me too. And we're just like not wanting to see that this guy is so great and stuff and see it from my mom's eyes. And so yeah, he was standoffish. And I just didn't get good vibes from him.
You weren't sure.
Yeah.
When was like the first red flag for you personally, or was it more just stuff that your sister had been telling you?
So I was in the car, and we just got back from California Pizza Kitchen.
Nice.
And it's funny because he paid for the bill that night. But we got back, and we were in my mom's car, and there was my boyfriend at the time, and then my best friend. And we were in the car, and I was trying to get out. There was child locks on the car. And I told him, I'm like, John, can you let me out? And he just, like, ignored me. And so I say it again louder. And then so he just got out of the car, went upstairs. And I was just like, that's so weird. And everybody else in the car thought that was weird, too.
Like, he just blatantly ignored you.
Yeah. And so I had to call my mom on her cell phone and be like, or text her or something and just be like, hey, can you let me out of the car?
So you still couldn't get out of
here, still in the car. Okay, that was definitely like the first red flag. Like, what is wrong with this guy?
And he just left you in the car?
Yes. Me and like 2 other people. So I'm just like, this is strange.
Wait, that is so bizarre.
Yeah.
So he just like weird personality quirks,
Yeah.
it seems like.
And, like, he just didn't care about me. He was like, just this person.
Yeah. But I think in the podcast I was listening, I think out of the both relationships, he obviously had a better relationship with you, right? Because you were less threatening and more soft-spoken, whereas your sister was a little bit more opinionated. Is that right?
By better, he didn't want to put me in the ocean that day.
I can't believe the threats that he made. That's insane.
It's insane.
Yeah, no, it was crazy because he would also do it from my mom's phone and pretend to be her. And it was just, that part was really hard.
And was that like a mind, sorry, excuse my language, but fuck? Or
Oh, yeah, it was a mind
Did you
fuck
think
for
it was your
sure.
mom, or did you know that it was John, or were you not sure?
I had a feeling it was him because just it didn't sound like her. And I was just like, the wording's wrong. And then my sister, in the moment, she couldn't believe that it wasn't her. So I had thoughts that it was him, and she believed that it was my mom saying these things.
Really?
Yes.
That is crazy. But your mom would never say that.
No.
Your mom seems like the most like genuine, nice, soft-spoken
I
women.
will say one thing. Like, she is a little different. Like, when we give her hell, she'll give us hell back.
Yeah. Yeah.
As a mom would.
Right?
Yeah.
She's not like, oh, okay, just do your own thing.
Right.
Like, kind of how Connie played it. But meeting my mom, she seems like that type of person.
Yeah.
So Connie was kind of different than your actual mom.
Like, she played her extremely well, but I don't think she saw that my mom does have a backbone.
Yeah.
Okay.
A spark. So your mom had been married previously before, 4 times, right?
Yes.
And, sorry.
I think that's right.
I think. Had also been dating other men. And I think that, had she been dating kind of bad men, and that's what you were worried about, and it was kind of the same thing? Like, what other kind of men was she dating?
So the previous guy beforehand, he was living up north, and she bought him a plane. And then we found out that he...
A plane?
A plane.
Okay.
Wow.
Like a little 2-seater plane, but a plane.
Yeah.
And then we found out he was fooling around on her, and he was in other relationships, and he was engaged to someone else, or I believe he was engaged to someone else. So that was just the last person that we saw her come from.
Okay. So you kind of had like a bad taste in your mouth about her previous relationships. Ooh, that would be difficult. Back to the episode, Jon kind of claims that he doesn't know what he wants from Debra. You know, in the scene after where she confronts him in the coffee shop, and she's like, "What do you want from me? Do you want money?" And he's like, "I don't know what I want, but I know I want something." And I'm just trying to figure out, did Jon just want money from your mom, or like what ultimately was his goal, do you think?
Okay, I think ultimately it was money, but there was like, he definitely felt something for my mom. It was weird.
Yeah. I mean, I've been asking.
We battled back and forth about it because it's like sometimes we feel like he genuinely loved your mom, and then sometimes it's just like, what is the issue? And that's where I would always go back into saying, well, maybe it's just his childhood. He just doesn't know how to love. Like he had a horrible relationship with his dad and just family in general. So it's just kind of weird. Like, did he love her or?
Well, the mind of a psychopath, they can't fully love someone, but they can be obsessed with someone and they can loathe someone, but they don't truly know how to love someone.
So would you say he's a psychopath or a sociopath?
Psychopath.
And what's the difference?
To be honest, I don't really know too many of the differences.
I know, I should know this.
I've just talked to so many forensic analysts, and they said that he was a psychopath, and then he didn't have a conscience. I know that's something psychopaths don't have. They're so good at targeting in on someone and basically convincing someone that their truth is the real truth.
Right. And what Connie Britton said in one of the after shows is she doesn't think that Jon is truly capable of loving women, but she thinks that he is in love with the idea of being loved in this like reality that he's created.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to what I was saying about like a psychopath can't fully love, but he can loathe. So he likes the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I want to believe that he like loved your mom, even though he was,
or she was at least his favorite, like something like, I don't know. I find it hard to believe that all of this time was invested for him to just be no emotion,
Yeah. Well, it was strange because, like, I truly believe that he felt something for Tonya, too. And it's like, I think maybe he has infatuations with women, and he doesn't know how to deal with that correctly.
Yeah, what was crazy to me is the Tonya relationship. Like, she didn't start seeing red flags till 10 years in their relationship, I think is what the Oxygen special said, which is mind-blowing to me because obviously he was kind of a bad person from day one, even as a child. And I couldn't believe that, they got married, had 2 kids, and then X amount of years later, that's kind of when she starts to see him unravel and become a different person.
Yeah. Well, I feel like Tonya and my mom are trusting women and they want to see the good in everyone. And I think that Tonya trusted Jon. And she didn't see the red flags until they were right in front of her.
Yeah.
And when you're trusting someone, if, like, someone else calls you or something, a woman calls you, you're going to trust that it's, like, a business relationship. And so you're not going to go snooping. And so until someone came up to her and told her something, then she began to snoop.
Right, Tonya.
Yeah, Tonya.
And what we talked about, like in the very first episodes, Tyra was like, how is Debra falling for him? Like, I don't get it. And I think what my opinion is that almost everything was really good between your mom and Jon, like 98% good. He's getting her dry cleaning and making her food and doing her like car maintenance or whatever. And then there's this 2% of something's like little things that are going wrong, but you're just able to push it away.
I felt like he was really good at the little things. He knew the little things that women liked. Like, I mean, every morning he would make her a smoothie, even though we found out later it was kind of like he was doing all of this to find out about her bank statements and things like that. But he just knew how to make a woman feel good, even if he couldn't give her the world, because we knew your mom was more wealthy than him, but he just knew how to make her feel good inside. So that's what just was kind of like, I don't know, maybe that's how she fell in love with him.
Well, I feel like when someone's giving you attention and they're always there, like I had a similar experience, not with like the same type of guy, but let's just say he was crazy too. And he was always there. Yeah. And it just was so nice, and he would do stuff for me. He would just always listen to me, so it felt nice.
Yeah.
And I feel like when someone's always there and they're actually giving you attention, you want to have that person around.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I can relate to that. I want to get into episode 8, This Young Woman Fought Like Hell, which is like the peak of this whole season and so crazy. I like how it starts out with John in the desert with a shovel digging a gravesite. I totally was like, was this true? But obviously we would never know, right? Like,
Honestly, that was not true.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't true at all.
Okay.
But he did message this one lawyer and said that he was going to bury us in the backyard. So I think if he was going to bury us anywhere, it would be in the backyard of the Vegas house. But in the the Bravo series, they didn't have the Vegas house.
Right. They didn't even have that storyline. Why was he telling that to a lawyer is my question.
I don't know. That still concerns me, to be honest.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so then we kind of see him like stalking your mom, her coworker, and then essentially you and Ronnie. And then Ronnie is followed. She's in the Uber scene. She sees that he's following her and kind of freaks out and warns you. And you're about to go to a music festival, right? So
yeah, well, Jason Aldean concert, but
okay, yeah. Ooh, I love Jason Aldean.
yes.
And then it was interrupted by Jon.
Yes.
I mean, should we just get right into the attack?
Yeah.
Why not?
Okay. So you obviously love zombies, Walking Dead, all that stuff. And so, well, let's start from the beginning. So you get out of the car, and then you hear him come over. He says, "Remember me," right?
Okay, so actually, I pull up, and I'm not even into my parking spot, and my dog starts barking and going off on him. And then I tell my dog to knock it off because I look over and I see him, and I think it's just like a homeless guy.
So you didn't recognize him?
I didn't recognize him, no.
Was he standing outside of your car or in his car?
So his car was, the trunk was in the back, so his car was backed up into the spot.
Okay.
And he was in his trunk with a tire arm.
Oh my gosh.
And I saw that, and I didn't even give it a second thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long had it been since you had seen him prior to that incident?
Years.
Okay.
I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, because that makes me wonder if, like, you didn't recognize him and things like that. Like, it just kind of just happened. And I wonder why he would say, "Do you remember me?" So
Yeah.
time had passed since then.
No, I met Jon twice,
Okay.
and it was...
Oh, you only met him 2 times?
Only met him twice.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
it was the weekend before Thanksgiving and then the weekend of Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
Yeah, so...
And how long had it been since he had been communicating with your mom? Like, were there these like legal battles going on and stuff, or were they?
Okay, so I think it was a couple weeks since he had any contact with her.
Okay.
But he, so I had his dog that they got together.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I was watching the dog because when he was stalking us, the dog would get loose. And so the dog ended up at the pound, and we waited a couple days for Jon to go get the dog. And no, he didn't get the dog. And so...
Like, he would just let the dog go?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And he would go to California to stalk us and just leave the dog at the house and just like have the doggy door for it and just leave it food and stuff.
And now, is this the house in Vegas or in Nevada that you're referring to?
Yes.
Okay, which they don't touch on in the show.
So
but
through this time, they were separated, and he was just pretty much spending his time stalking. And then that's when ultimately he meets you at your apartment complex and...
Yeah, well, and then he crashed his car into a gate, and then the car was in my mom's name, so she went and picked up the car, and then he lost everything, essentially, so that's when he spiraled out of control.
And at this point, did she get a restraining order, or?
So I don't think we ever technically had a restraining order against him because it was so hard to get one.
Yeah.
And then she... bless my mom's heart, but she didn't know that meeting up with him was a big no-no.
Right. And that kind of turned
Yeah.
the whole case kind of like her what's the word I'm looking for? Her credibility.
Yes.
Right? So I can't imagine being attacked. I mean, this sounds like out of a movie. Did you recognize him when he came up to you? Like, did you realize who it was then?
Yeah, I saw him right away, and my first thought was like, oh shit, like not today.
Okay.
Like not
So
the day of the Jason Aldean concert.
Yeah, so it wasn't like he came just on full attack mode. It was kind of just like, oh my God, why is Jon here kind of feeling.
Yeah, like he grabbed me by the waist and was trying to get me to go over towards his trunk of his car. And I just he looked me in the eyes, said, do you remember me? And then I immediately tried to like
Get away
from him and do a 360, but I wasn't able to get away from him.
And I think the ultimate goal, or I don't know what you think, was he trying to essentially just kidnap you and hold you for ransom?
Killed me?
Was he trying to attempt to kill you?
He was trying to kill me. He had a lot of knives in the back of the car too.
Right, the kidnap kit, right?
Yeah, he had a kidnap kit.
Oh my gosh.
But I think he was going to like try to kidnap me, kill me, and then try to get ransom money.
Wow.
Do you think that he had any intentions to murder before this whole situation, or do you think he ever did murder someone? Because I feel like that can't just come out of nowhere, that craziness, but...
With his brother, he sent him the drugs that killed him. So he technically killed him. I think he would brag about to my mom that he killed someone.
Really?
And so I'm not sure if that was maybe his brother or who that was or whatnot.
Yeah.
But that was really weird. And then, so he went to visit his dad, and I think they showed it in the show too.
Yeah.
And that did happen.
They implied that he killed his dad.
Yeah, and his sisters believe that too.
Okay, so...
He killed him. We were thinking about that. Wow. So, okay, after, the attack and all of that, you were in the hospital, and even though this man has been so evil and he's literally tried to kill you, you were still just so compassionate about his well-being and worried about his family and all of that behind. I guess, how could you just block out everything he had done to still show that compassion?
Well, I hated him, but if you kill someone and you see in TV shows and stuff, there's always someone that gets hurt. You always see someone mourning over this person. And then his sisters came and actually gave me flowers, but I wasn't in the hospital then. They came to my house.
Wow.
And they gave me flowers and basically told me that he was an evil person, that they were living in fear of him, and...
Wow.
So it's almost like a thank you in a way, kind of.
Yeah.
Wow.
And do you have any sort of relationship with them now, or was it just like a one-time thing and never speak to them again? Have they been involved in filming at all also?
So I don't have any contact with them anymore.
Okay.
There is just some things that happen, and that's all I really want to say about that.
Okay. We can move on. What I thought was really interesting in the podcast, they say that you're super intuitive and like you used to have really bad dreams when you were growing up, and you even had a dream prior to the attack that Jon was stabbing you. Is that right?
I was stabbing Jon.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. That's crazy. Can you like elaborate on that anymore, or just...
Okay, so I think it's just like, I personally believe that it was God's way of preparing me for that attack. Because I had a dream of me just stabbing, and I didn't kill him in my dream. I was just stabbing him. And it was just really weird. And then I actually wrote, like, my ex-boyfriend a note because, like, we got a dog together. And I was like, I feel just, like, the sense of death around me. And so I wrote him a note just like,
Wow.
if anything happens to me, the dog goes to you.
Wow.
That's insane.
So, like, what led up? I mean, I feel like certain events kind of, after, like, having so much thought into things, sometimes you dream it, or, like, something would happen for you to have a dream like that. At least this happens to me. Were there events? I know you said you only saw him a couple of times, but I guess, like, what do you think probably may have led up to you dreaming about him, you killing him, stabbing him?
Well, I just had a sense that I always had a sense it was going to be me. Like, he was going to go after me. And I always would tell my mom that, and she'd be like, no, if anyone, he would go after Jacqueline. Like, you're safe. Like, don't worry about that. And I'm like, no, Mom, he's evil. Like, there's something about him. He's going to come after me. And then we actually had lunch one day together, my mom and my sister, and she was staying with Jon because she was scared that he was going to go after my sister.
Wow.
And she was staying with him because she was like, I just want him to come after me and not my kids.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's partially one of the reasons why she stayed with him for the second time.
Right. Wow. That's crazy. And I just want to jump back to the attack really quickly because I feel like putting myself in your shoes, I wouldn't be able to do what you did. I think that it is a life or death situation, so you kind of had to fight for it. But you talk about how, like, watching zombie shows and CSI and things like that, like, kind of helped you put you in the mindset of, like, how to hold the knife right and how to stab him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, well, I watched so much Walking Dead, and I would watch that show on repeat.
Oh, my gosh.
So I feel like, just like when he was falling on top of me, I held his head so he wouldn't bite me like a zombie.
Wow.
And he was falling on top of me, so I was pushing him off. And then the last ones, I was like, should I do them to the head? And I was like, I don't want him to get back up. And so that's when I actually gave thought to the last two.
Wow.
And the last one was in his eye, right?
Yes. And that's the softest point of entry.
Well, that's really good to know in case
That's
anybody
good to
attacks
know.
me. I'm glad that I know these.
Wow. I don't know. I just truly commend you. Like, even just sitting here listening to it, like, I'm just, like, thinking back as if it was me. And it's just, like, it's just a miracle that you're here today with us.
Oh,
and
thanks. I'm really happy to be here.
How many times did he stab you? I know that's a really weird question.
Me?
Was it a couple times, or I know he tried to stab you, or was it multiple times?
So, like, once right here, well, he tried stabbing me a lot.
Right.
But once right here, this one was the deepest. This is 1 inch deep.
Oh, my gosh.
And then he missed, like, all major organs, all
wow.
everything. He
Thank
missed
God.
everything.
Yeah.
And then I have, like, a little stab mark on my chest from him, but that one's like 1 centimeter deep. And then I also had an artificial one on my face, but it, like, just grazed my face and it went away within a week.
Wow. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Somebody asked a question. They wanted to know, like, how your mental health has been since the accident. Obviously, there's PTSD, which I know that you talk about a little bit on your website.
Yeah, well, there's definitely PTSD. I would be lying if I said that it was easy and I was completely better. There's some days where I'm triggered if people bump into me by loud noises. But I do get more into it on my website, terranewell.com, and I really go in depth there and talk about my experiences.
How has the attack, like, changed your relationship with men? Like, do you have a boyfriend right now, or?
No boyfriends. I just have my dog.
The same dog?
Yeah, I just have Cash.
Cash.
I'm thinking about getting another one, and so I'm not really wanting a date.
Okay.
But, like, I'm not opposed to if something comes along.
Right.
It's just I'm not going out and searching for it right now.
Yeah.
Now, is your mom still single?
She is, but I think she's starting to want to date again.
Has she not dated since the...
She hasn't at all.
Wow.
Yes.
So I feel like even like being able to do media and stuff around LA, like you think that she like might meet a strapping young gentleman. I don't know.
Hopefully, that would be nice.
You know?
But
That's
she
not a psychopath.
She lives in Henderson.
In Nevada.
Yeah.
Okay. And you live in LA.
Yeah.
Or near LA. Okay. Wow. We got through so much. Hold on. I'm just checking out my questions. We do have to wrap up soon. I did notice there was a picture with you and John's daughters at Universal Studios.
Oh,
that was so cute. So do you see them a lot or talk to them a lot or not really because it's kind of a weird situation?
Oh, no. I love them to death. Aww. I love them and Tonya. We're all good. I think of Tonya as like a second mom.
Really?
Yes. She's really protective over me, and
really,
I just care for them so much.
And did you just grow closer like right after the incident essentially, or how did that happen?
So, a dateline kind of.
Oh.
So I got a dog. But I don't have the dog now because it ended up being my mom's dog instead.
Okay.
But we went to Georgia to pick up the dog, and we met them there. And then ever since, we just been, whenever there's like stuff in LA for them to do, we get together with them.
Oh, that's nice.
So we're like a family.
Yeah, that's good. I mean,
yes.
I feel like you're making lemonade out of lemons. Is that how you say it? Like you're making the best possible situation. Yeah. You would never be this close to these people, and it's like the worst situation, but it sounds like you guys are making do. And
yeah, well, I really like the girls. The girls are so great. Like they don't have any traits of Jon. They're wonderful people. Like one of them has a vlog, Dex, and then the other one's in college now, so they're doing great with their lives.
Oh, that's amazing. Good.
Yes.
Okay, so we are running out of time, but we do have to wrap up. But I do want to touch on, you have a website, right? And it's kind of, is it everything lifestyle, health?
It's lifestyle, it's traveling, hiking, PTSD, and just talking about other interests of mine.
Perfect. And is that mainly what you're working on right now? Are you doing anything else that we should know about?
Well, I do have a regular job too.
Oh, okay. Okay, I wasn't sure.
I run my mom's silk plant company.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
So we make
What's
fake
a silk
plants.
plant for those of us who don't know?
So when you go into model homes and stuff, all the fake plants in there, that's what I do.
Okay, cool. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming here and talking to you. It was amazing. I wish we had more time because I could grill you with questions.
Keep going
all night long.
Sad it's over.
We have to end. Tyra, where can we find you on social media?
Hey guys, you can find me on all social media platforms at _Tyra Perut.
And Terra, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram, Twitter. I'm just Terra Newell.
And TerraNewell.com, right?
Yeah, and TerraNewell.com.
Perfect. You guys have had so much fun. You guys can find me on Instagram at Shanti_Christina or tweet me at ShantiChristina. Thank you so much for watching. The show was awesome. Sad to see you go, but we'll see you next time. Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principal.